Good morning, fourth grade. Today is Friday, December 11th, 2020. Today, what you're going to have is there's going to be some recorded videos for you guys to check out the assignments that you have to do for today. So I'm going to run through our morning meeting just like we normally would, and then I'd like you to follow along with some of the activities. So to start off, make sure you go to your Google Classroom and watch morning announcements. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. Go ahead and pause this video and watch morning announcements. After you're done watching morning announcements, we're going to check out our checklist for this day today. Okay, so check it out. It's under your Google Classroom checklist 12/11. I have mine already opened up. So if I'm sharing my screen, I can see, oops, I've got a little bit too much, a little too far in. And now it's a little bit too other. Let's see here. I want to do presentation mode. Okay. All right. Now we're ready. So it's our daily language review time. After we're done writing in our agendas, we're going to turn in Friday. Make sure you have Monday through Thursday completed as well, including on Thursday, you had to do some explanations of those different punctuation marks. If you need some help in remembering, I'm going to go over that really quick before I move on to Friday's one. So right now, like I said, we're watching our morning meeting in Google Classroom. There will be no live Zooms today, so make sure you're watching all videos and reading all directions for your assignments. After you're done with your morning meeting, take a quick break. Really, you can take a break whenever you need to in the day, but during that break, make sure you're getting up, stretching, doing what you need to do so that you are doing your best work on your assignments. From about 8:55 to 10 o'clock, remember, you can kind of do this in whichever order you want. You're kind of self-pacing yourself today, but I kind of like to keep a schedule, especially since we do have specials today. So with our schedule for keeping it like normal, you're going to go and you're going to check out your memory writing, your rough draft. I'm going to have written some comments on it, and you're going to turn it into your final copy. Yours will have notes on it if you submitted your rough draft by Thursday. So hopefully you did. I will have written some comments on it if you had turned it in on time. But from there, you're going to turn it into your final copy. There will be a Google Doc for you to type in your 3-paragraph memory writing. From there, you have Christmas around the world. So you're going to be reading about a new country, and you're going to be writing about that country after you've read some passages. Last week, you read about England, and it was actually, the last question was, what kind of setup is it? It was a comparison article comparing Christmas in America to Christmas in England. And they had another day that we don't celebrate, but that's called Boxing Day. And so you kind of used some of your text clues to help you write some of those answers out. And you might have gotten a hint because there was a T chart. Check out this week's and see what country you're going to be talking about and reading. And I hope you enjoy those assignments. You also have iReady for 30 minutes. We haven't gone on iReady a lot this week. I would like you to go on for 30 minutes, meaning if you're done with the lesson and you're not done with 30 minutes yet, make sure you stay on iReady for 30 minutes. I'm going to have it assigned in Google Classroom, and I'm going to be checking your minutes. Independent work time from 10 to 10:45, finishing up any unfinished work from your ELA block today or work from the rest of the week. Make sure you want to go into the weekend with nothing on your plate. You don't want to have missing assignments. Use that 45 minutes to get done with your day. You have art, go to Mrs. Klein's Google Classroom. You will have art today. Check out what assignment she has. Then you'll have lunch and recess. And my friends, then you will, for science and social studies, we're going to take a break on week 7. We're going to come back to it next week. So don't get rid of week 7. We're going to take our quiz next Wednesday. And we're going to have a couple more activities about the War of 1812 and Tecumseh. We're going to return to that next week. Today, we're going to do some science. All week in Studies Weekly, not Studies Weekly, I'm sorry, Storyworks magazine, you've been reading about the volcano that changed the world, and that was the article by Lauren Tarshis. I would like for you to read this informational article that I've put in a Google Slides activity. You're going to read about the volcano, and then you're going to take both articles and you're going to give me 5 fact sentences that you have learned about volcanoes and put it in that slide. There's going to be a bonus activity, and it's going to share with you how to create your own volcano at home. And then you can maybe even take a picture or post a video of you doing that extra activity. Then in math, my friends, we have our simple solutions quiz. I cannot stress enough that I would like for you to take your time on the simple solutions quiz. Give yourself a timer, put it on there for about 20 minutes, and use that whole time to solve and make sure that you have checked your work, you've done all parts, you've answered all things. One of the biggest missing things on our simple solutions quizzes is when it says for you, let's say a prime number last week was 13, and it said to explain. A lot of us just said prime. On that, for our explanation, we might want to include the only thing I can multiply to 13 is 1. So that would be an explanation. Also, another thing we're missing is number sentences. If it's giving you a word problem and it's asking you to solve and write a number sentence, that's not a word sentence saying Susie caught 47 baseballs. That is 7 times 6 equals 42. That number sentence of 7 times 6 equals 42 needs to be included in your answer. To round out your math after your simple solutions quiz is up, your Zern lessons 11 through 13 are due Friday. If you want to jump ahead in Zern and keep going, please do. Make sure that you, before you're submitting it on Google Classroom, it has to say in Zern that you are completed with lesson 13 and that your next lesson is 14. And then I assigned to you a winter math activity last Friday. I would like you to work on that if you haven't turned it in. And there will be another winter math activity that I will assign that will be due in a week's time. And it's kind of just a fun little winter math activity. Those are your assignments for today. Let's go ahead and put them into our agenda. So I've got my agenda open to page 51. Under reading, I'm going to say reading log due, exclamation point, so I don't forget. I also need to make sure that I've done all of my volcano activities for the week. I'm not going to rewrite it, but you should have done vocab on Monday, cause and effect on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday you were doing text features. Today, however, you are going to take a break from that and do Christmas around the world, and that will be assigned to you in Google Classroom. I want things written in complete sentences, okay? And I will have a video posted to Google Classroom about how to do the assignment and what I'm looking for. Math, you have simple solutions quiz. you have Zern, 11 through 13 do. And you have winter math activity. In language arts, you have final draft, or you could say copy of memory writing. Okay, and then social studies, you don't have anything. You should have all of your week 7 assignments completed. Week 7 assignments completed. When I say that, that's your Google Classroom assignment for Think and Review and crossword. For science today, you have volcano slides. One of our standards in science is landforms, and one of our landforms is a volcano. So it ties in perfectly with what we've been reading about all week. So we are going to be talking about volcanoes further. If you want, you can pause the video right here so you can see all of my assignments and make sure you have them copied into your planner. I'm going to go ahead and open up my my Google Classroom for my I want to see my Google Classroom so that I can do what am I trying to say right now? Oh, ELA morning work. I want to pull that up so that you guys can see what we are doing today for Friday, Figurative Friday. I'm just getting it pulled up right now. I'll share my screen. Classwork, ELA morning work. Okay, so you've done Monday, you've done Tuesday, you've done Wednesday, Thursday. Remember, we talked about adding these punctuation meanings. We had to say the purpose. So the purpose of parentheses was to give more information. The purpose of a period at the end of a sentence is to end a statement. So that's a person makes a statement that's just saying something. There's typically no inflection in that when I read it. So it just is a period. And then at the bottom, we have ellipses, which means I'm going to have the reader pause when I put that. So that's also often at the end of a sentence that's kind of trailing off, okay? Figurative Friday, literal or figurative. Decide whether each sentence uses literal or figurative language. Literal means it's happening. It actually is happening. Figurative means that it's an exaggeration and it's not actually happening as the writer is saying. And then we also have, it looks like a poem called An Autumn Greeting, written by Anonymous. You are going to say what elements are used in the poem above. Okay, so I'm going to read it, pause, and then tell us the answer. And hopefully, as I'm reading it, you're working on it, and then we're kind of coming up with the answer at the same time. So decide whether each sentence uses literal or figurative language. You caught me off guard. Think about it. Is this person literally being kind of thrown off from what they were doing? That is a figurative statement. So I'm going to type in figurative. Please write out the word figurative. I was so surprised today. Is that a super exaggeration of figurative language, or can you literally actually be surprised? I'm going to say that that is literal. Hopefully you just filled in my blank. Literal. I thought the math test was easy. Literal or figurative? I think literal. You could actually think a test is easy, right? Our test was a piece of cake. Literal or figurative? Is your test actually a piece of cake that you could eat? Probably not. So it is figurative. Mrs. Peterson glared daggers at Joey. Mrs. Pierce, or Mrs. Peterson, I should say, can she glare? But are daggers shooting out of her eyes? No. So it's figurative. Figurative. And our last one, I looked at Mrs. Peterson. Yes, you can literally look at Mrs. Peterson. Literal. Okay, an autumn greeting, but written by Anonymous. Come, said the wind to the leaves one day. Come over the meadow and we will play. Put on your dresses of red and gold, for summer is gone and the days grow cold. Which of the following elements are used in the poem above? Rhyme with repeated line, rhyme with personification, or repeated line and personification. So let's reread it. Come, said the wind to the leaves one day. Come over the meadow and we will play. Put on your dresses of red and gold, for summer is gone and the days grow cold. So is there rhyming words? Are words getting exactly repeated? Entire lines being repeated? And is there elements of the story where non-living things have human-like characteristics? That's what's personification. Think about those. I'll read it one more time. Come, said the wind to the leaves one day. Come over the meadow and we will play. Put on your dresses of red and gold, for summer is gone and the days grow cold. I see and I hear a lot of rhyming, and I think to myself, can the wind actually tell the leaves to come over, right? Can they tell the leaves to put on clothing of red and gold? No. So that is a human characteristic given to a non-living object. So I am going to say which one has both rhyme and personification. That answer is B. Okay. Make sure all parts of your ELA morning work is completed, and then make sure you turn it in. If you needed to pause at any point during that activity, make sure you go back. You can watch this video as much as you want, rewatch, pause it, and see where your answers are. I am going to read a few pages from our story. So we're in chapter 0. And Cass and Max Ernest just found packages in that box. In a more sober moment, Cass might have reflected on the dangers of opening an unexpected package from a total stranger. However, this was not a normal moment, however. She and Max Ernest both tore open their packages at once. Fortunately, the packages did not contain explosives. They were not even booby trapped. Cass's package contained a backpack. I wish I could describe the way the backpack looked, but there's a very good chance she's still carrying it to this day, and I don't want to give you away any more ways to identify her than I already have. At any rate, it wasn't the backpack's appearance that made it so special. In fact, when Cass first saw it, she was almost disappointed that it looked so normal. Inside, this was another story. The backpack was filled from top to bottom with state-of-the-art survival gear, all very compact and lightweight and built to withstand the hardest use in the harshest conditions. The backpack's best features she didn't notice until the backpack was empty. These were the things that the backpack did, as opposed to the things that it contained. For instance, if you pulled on one cord, a parachute popped out. If you pulled another cord, the shoulder straps inflated and the backpack became a flotation device. If you turned the backpack inside out and unzipped it all the way around, it expanded into a full-size tent. Cass knew her mother would be very unhappy to see Cass wearing a backpack again. Lately, her mother had been trying to get her to carry a shoulder bag, but Cass had a feeling that this backpack she would never take off. Max's package was also disappointing when first opened. It contained what looked like a familiar handheld device, a kind of device you see every day, and not even a very special version. But it only took Max Ernest a few seconds to discover that the device wasn't what it looked like at all. It didn't even accept any game cartridges. Oops, I almost gave away what it was disguised as. It had a false front that lifted up at the touch of a hidden button. Underneath was a small tablet-like style computer and scanner specifically designed for cracking secret codes, the Ultra Decoder 2. As Max Ernest would learn after experimenting for a while, the decoder included keys for decrypting all known code systems and tools for deciphering unknown ones. Its memory contained full dictionaries and character recognition software for over 1,000 languages, including Aramaic, Sanskrit, and Navajo. It could even read Egyptian hieroglyphs. One thing the decoder did not do was tell jokes. Max Ernest loved it anyway. "Are you guys okay up there?" called Grandpa Larry. "We're fine," Cass yelled back. They were ready to hide their packages if Larry came upstairs, but apparently he and Wayne had yet to finish researching their new dishes. A moment later, Max Ernest was busily translating the word fart into every language he could think of. Someone had once told him that fart jokes were funny, and Cass was taking a second look at her flashlight. Not only a flashlight, it turned out, but a warning siren, tracking device, and a two-way radio. Between the rain and the steam from all the tea, the kitchen window had fogged up to the point where you could no longer see through it. Whenever the light passed across the glass, thousands of tiny droplets would briefly illuminate, then disappear. This must have happened a half dozen times before Max Ernest looked up from studying the decoder and saw it. "Look," he said, but then the light had passed again. He had trouble getting Cass to aim her flashlight again at the exact right point, but eventually she hit the spot. And now Cass could see it too. Someone had written on the glass, just as anyone might say sitting on a bus next to a foggy window, but this message was not scribbled with a finger. Rather, it looked like someone had used some kind of fine writing instrument. And it didn't look anything like "Joe was here" or "Terry plus Samantha equals love." Actually, it didn't look like it was even written in English. It was written in code. By the time they started deciphering the message, the fog had disappeared from the window and the message was disappearing with it. Max Ernest grabbed a notepad and a pencil from the kitchen counter. He scribbled in a kind of delirium, the kind that only comes when you've eaten too much Halloween candy or when you're trying to just transcribe a secret message before it vanishes forever. Max Ernest held up the page as soon as he finished copying the message. Here is the first line exactly as it appeared on the window. CS2O RTPP TKCOT JTXSOKSPQ. So I'm going to show you that message. That's where I'm going to pause really quick. And the rest of the story will be finished on Monday. And we will see how it ends. I hope you've enjoyed reading this novel as much as I have. I love it every time I read it. All right, guys, this is your end of your morning meeting. Make sure you've watched your morning announcements. Make sure you have completed your morning work, and hopefully you have figured out and filled out the agenda for Friday. Have it a great day today. Make it a good one, and make sure you watch all videos and complete all assignments for the day. Have a wonderful day today, guys. Bye.